So a lot of you guys probably don't know, but I don't come from money. My parents are broke. Never started off with a lot of money, no connections. Pretty much just a regular Joe Schmo. And I feel like I just don't really talk about my struggles as much when I wasn't as successful. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, now that's over, I'm just gonna go over some things that I struggled with, you feel me? Just kind of give you guys some relatability, because I feel like a lot of you guys don't understand that I literally come from the same position as you. So, you know, when I was first starting out in high school, you know, when I was doing drop shipping, copywriting, stocks, all these different businesses, unfortunately, all of it failed, okay? And it's not like, I'm gonna be honest, it is technically my fault as well. Like, if I just locked in on one single business for the 4 years that I spent doing all these different businesses, I probably would have made more money and got way more sales. But, you know, I guess like in the long run it did work out, because eventually I found clothing, and I think that's like the best business that I've done out of everything. So I guess growing up, broke family, I'm not gonna go over like a little cry fest, because I think that's pretty just like, I wouldn't say it's stupid, it's just like everybody comes from their situation, okay? Like, if you're rich, if you're broke, I feel like most people that watch my videos don't come from a rich family. If you do, then great, okay? Like, I don't think the circumstances really matter as much. Even if you're born rich, you feel me? Like, I doubt your parents will give you all your wealth, all their wealth. I'm sure you want to build something for yourself as well. So, you know, honestly, I think circumstances does matter to a certain extent. But, you know, I feel like 90% of the people watching this video just come from like a broke family, or a family where, you know, their parents won't literally start a business for them and just run everything for them. So with that being said, my parents are immigrants. You know, the whole fucking typical Asian story. Immigrants came from Korea when I was born, and they don't know any English, came to America just for me. And they're very broke. I wouldn't say they're like super broke to the point where they don't have enough, like, any money. I've never been like, you know, like on the streets or anything like that. But we've also definitely not been rich. You feel me? Like, our parents, or my parents, have definitely been, you know, on the harder side when it comes to finance. You know, they don't have that much money. And I remember growing up, like, I barely got any presents. And even if I did, it was like a couple $100. And you know, I also understood from a very young age that our parents were broke, okay? And I think the main reason why is because my cousin, who I used to live with live near when I was in Chicago, lived in a very big house, okay? She had an upstairs, a downstairs, and she's younger than me, and she would always like just, I don't know, rub it in my face. She would always rub it in my face, the fact that I was broke. And like, why is your house so small? Because, you know, our house was like a little apartment, and we lived further away in like the ghetto area. And like, my cousin was living in the rich neighborhood. So, you know, my cousin was always just rubbing it in my face, like, why are you so broke? Why is your house so small? Just stuff like that. And I was like, I think because of that, growing up, it just made me a little bit more angry, have that grit, have that just anger built in myself, like, oh, I need to be rich. You feel me? I need to be successful. And a lot of you guys also know that, you know, growing up, I told you guys in the videos as well, like, I knew that I was gonna become successful, and I'm genuinely not lying about that. Like, I knew since I was like a little kid, like, I'm destined for success. I don't know what it is. You can call me a narcissist, you can call me selfish. I don't care what you call me. I'm just telling you the truth, okay? The truth is that when I was younger, like, I knew that I was gonna become successful. I don't know what I was gonna be good at. I don't know how I was gonna be famous, or I don't even know what I was gonna do, but I just knew that whatever I do, I'm gonna be successful at it. My whole goal was to not go to college and just, you know, be a dropout and just make a bunch of money. But the problem is that I needed to make money in high school, but I didn't make any money. So like I said earlier, I did drop shipping, copywriting, a bunch of different things, and none of it worked out. And during these 4 years in high school, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, like, it was very hard. I don't talk about it a lot because it was a pretty dark time. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I was depressed. I wasn't. I was never depressed in my life, okay? I think every time I was sad, I just took it as motivation and I used it to fuel me. I've never been like actually quote unquote depressed. I'm sure, you know, I've had periods of time where I felt depressed, but I was never actually depressed, okay? Like that's never happened to me. I think depression is just something that I don't know, I just think it's like a label that you put on yourself. You're not really depressed, you're just sad. You feel depressed, you're not depressed forever, right? So during high school, I had friends, you know, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I got bullied or anything like that either. I had a decent amount of friends, but there was something off, you feel me? Like I was never really, I don't know, I couldn't really get along with a lot of friends like that as much as I wanted to. And I think the main reason why is because I just wasn't where I wanted to be in life, you feel me? I had no social issues, I had no personality issues, like I'm not like a nerd or a weirdo or anything. I just wasn't making money, you feel me? I just wasn't successful, and that pissed me off. And a lot of you guys might think I have an ego right now, but when I was in high school, for some weird reason, I had a bigger ego, okay? So I think the main reason why is because I was constantly seeing all my friends having fun going out, and I was just doing work, you feel me? So obviously, you know, I didn't get any results, right? But I was working on my businesses, studying, working out, just trying to be a better self. And I think because of that, I just thought I was better than everybody. And I genuinely thought that, okay? I'm not gonna sit here and like lie about it. I genuinely thought I was better than everybody. Obviously now I don't think that because, you know, I've been humbled a little bit. But for some weird reason in high school, my ego was through the roof. I thought I was the shit for some weird reason. And obviously my attitude showed that. And I feel like a lot of my friends, like especially during senior year after COVID, they came back and they're like, bro, like who is this guy? Who does this guy think he is? I'm sure a bunch of people thought that. I don't blame them because if I had results, then I guess like they can't say anything. But I didn't even have any results, and I was just acting like I was this guy who was successful, which I wasn't. And unfortunately, you know, I've had a lot of like fantasies. Okay, oh, wait, that's a weird way to put it. Pretty much every single summer break or every single winter break, spring break that I had, my dream was to make so much money, be successful, and come back as this successful guy that, you know, used to be your friend, but now he's making a bunch of money. Like that's the type of timing that I wanted to be on. And that's the main reason why, like during the summers or any type of break I had, I would work my ass off. The problem is it never worked out, you feel me? Which is funny because like, I think a lot of people say like, oh, if you put something out in the universe, it's gonna happen, like manifestation. But for me, it was actually the opposite, right? Because I said, okay, this winter break, I'm gonna lock in, I'm gonna make a bunch of money, come back successful. Never happened. Every single time I thought that, it never happened. And the one time where I was like, okay, I'm not gonna make any goals, I'm just gonna work hard, see where this shit goes. I'm not gonna put it out in the universe saying that I'm gonna hit this blah 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 mark, I'm gonna be successful. I just said, you know what, I'm just gonna try it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If it works, it works. So that's when I started my brand, and fun fact, it actually became successful, right? So now I don't like to put like things out in the universe like, oh, I need to hit 10K this month or some shit like that, because I feel like for some weird reason, God has a very funny sense of humor, so he never makes it happen. I don't know, for some weird reason. But with that being said, during high school, I don't know, I think I was just very frustrated because I spent 4 years just working hard and I had no results. Like I'm being dead ass. Like it's like, imagine working 4 years for something and getting 0 results. Like that, like it's gonna crush you, you feel me? And I don't know how I was so optimistic. I think this is where my self-belief of me being successful, like I knew that I was going to become successful since I was a little kid. I think that's where this kind of like came in, because I guess if this was a normal person, imagine working 4 years trying to make money and you make $0, literally $0, and you lose money. And the most amount of money you make is when you work as a cashier at a restaurant, you feel me? So that crushes you, you know what I'm trying to say? And this is before I started my clothing brand. After I started my clothing brand, holy crap, that's a whole nother issue. My clothing brand obviously did well eventually, but for the first 3 to 4 months was also hell. I'm here at Blaze Pizza, so I need to go get some pizza real quick. All right, boys, we are back. Just got the Blaze Pizza. Now we're finna go charge my car real quick. But to pretty much end off this video, I guess the point I'm trying to make is like we all come from somewhere, you feel me? And a lot of the successful people you see online don't really come from a lot of money. And whether you believe it or not, it's pretty true. That's not to say that people are successful. There are people that do come from money, but either way, like, you still have to do the work, right? It's not like just because you come from money, you don't put the work in. It is way easier, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, you still need to do the work. It's not like you just don't do the work after you make money. Like, that's crazy. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this little yap session, and I'll see you guys in the next one.